Asia as a region has arguably been the most successful in reducing poverty over the last 30 years. At the same time, the region faces very tough challenges of the environment and the climate change. In this situation, it is in the interest of the region and ADB as a partner in the region to focus on the issue. Now, in focusing on the sustainability question, people take three different approaches. One is, it is nice to live in a cleaner planet. A second would be, if we focused on climate and sustainability issues, that would make it easier to grow and reduce poverty. For example, health issues would be better addressed and so on. But the third way of looking at it is that going forward, it won't be possible to raise growth and reduce poverty without attending to sustainability. And this is what I think is critical, that with the kind of disasters that we are seeing in the nature through climate effects and the kind of health effects we are seeing and agricultural problems, it will be very hard to sustain high growth if sustainability issues were not taken head on. And therefore the context of the program, I think, would be how important it is to deal with the issues of sustainability in Asia, one, in its own national interest, but secondly, for the interest of the globe. And that's the urgency that we see for this program. One interesting aspect, there are many, is that there are trade-offs and there are tensions. And we had a group of ADB staff, but also participation from country leadership. And they bring to the table the concerns as well as the tensions in dealing with the environment and sustainability issues. So whether you take the energy issue or transport issue, there are questions that people are concerned about in terms of short-term cost to growth if you invested in climate or environmental concerns. There are some very interesting projects or programs that each of them has brought to the table. Some of them were featured at the end. And the real question was, if these are interesting projects with some good outcomes, how can they be scaled up? It isn't automatic. It calls for very strong leadership and political support and political will to take the good projects forward and scale them up in a way that makes a difference in real time. I think on a complex issue, but one that is urgent, 2 points sort of leap from the page. One is, it is important to listen to the various stakeholders, because there are conflicts and there are tensions. There are short-term versus long-term, one group versus the other. And so listening and really incorporating the views as well as you can of various stakeholders remains an issue that the program and its follow-up can address. Second, I would say the issues are complex and you need to not raise the alarm, but I think the communication needs to be one that conveys the irreversibility of the types of changes we are dealing with here and bring in a sense of urgency. Just take the climate equation. The simple arithmetic will speak to this concern. One, today there are about 392 parts per million in carbon dioxide equivalent in the air. People had thought that passing 350 would be problematic, but passing 450 parts per million, most scientists think would equal an ice-free planet scenario. At the rate of 2 parts per million every year, this could be achieved or reached in a quarter of a century. And that is really less than a generation. And so the urgency of acting and the simple arithmetic of what is the current trend meaning draws our attention to a scenario in which we don't follow business as usual, but really change the game. So communication is going to be a blend between not raising the alarm, but also not forgetting that the issue is urgent.